So with Vue.js, you have the ability to know everything that happens in your application. And Vue tells you this with life cycles. So, okay, so let's say that you have an application, right? And you made this new Vue instance. You started a Vue instance, right? So you created a new Vue. So before everything gets created, you're going to get the first life cycle, which is before create. This one is going to initialize the data, events, and everything else. And of course, this before create comes before that. So after everything is kind of created, you're going to get a different life cycle saying that everything was created and it's kind of ready to go. So before it's reaching the screen of the user with the template and everything else, you get a before mount. So before everything gets on the DOM, on the screen of the user, you get this life cycle. It's just letting you know, dude, I'm almost ready to go. Once everything is on the screen of the user, you get the mounted, all right? Everything is on the screen, everything is on the DOM, everything was mounted. And it's just let you know that everything just happened, all right? And this is kind of the end of the main life cycles. Now, what happens if there's an update on your data? Let's say that you have a username, and maybe the user updated the name of the user, right? Changed it from Francis to Steve. All right. So before the Vue.js, it's updating any kind of information. It's letting you know it's going to run a before update lifecycle, right? And after it gets updated on the Vue instance, it's running a different one, a different lifecycle, just letting you know that something was updated, right? All right. And of course, you can destroy Vue instances. We're going to discuss this later. So whenever you destroy an instance, of course, you get a before destroy, right? Just letting you know that it's almost ready to destroy an instance. And once it gets destroyed, it's the last thing it's going to do is going to give you this life cycle, the destroyed one. All right. So let's see this in action. All right. So I'm going to be adding just a div with the name, just like before, you know, the usual example name. Then I'm going to go here and say that inside of the data, we have a name of Francis. We are not going to use it right away, but we're going to use it later. All right. So now, of course, if I reload the application, we get Francis, right? Everything works. So now, okay, so adding a life cycle or having access to a life cycle is just like using a method or adding a data property. So I'm going to do comma, and the first life cycle is going to be before create. Notice I have an autocomplete. Let me do it again. So before create, right here, I'm getting an autocomplete, and it's because with the VS Code, I have right here a plugin with the with all the autocompletes and everything else, just snippets for Vue.js. Let me see if I can find it. Vue 2 snippets. This is the one. Vue 2 snippets, and you can actually go and get it. Much, it's gonna make your life easier. So we have the before create, and of course this one is gonna run before everything. So I'm gonna do console log and then running and then before create. Right. What is next? Then we have the created. So I'm gonna say created, open and close, and same console log. And this one is going to be running created, right? So after the created, we have the before mount. So we have the before mount. There we go. And again, console.log and running before mount. Let me do it right. Mount. All right. And running. Okay, so, and the last one, before we go to the other ones, of course, is the mounted. And this one, it's of course get called after everything is done on the screen. Everything is done. So we get the console log and running mounted. Right. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to reload the application, and you're going to get on the console, you're going to see on the console this list. So first we get running before create, which is the first one, right? Then running created, then running before mount, and running mounted. So notice that everything is in order. If I do this, this is the last one, and I put it at the beginning, it doesn't matter. Oh, of course, made a mistake right here. There we go. it doesn't matter. It's just gonna do running mounted at the end because this is the life cycles and the last life cycle, and it comes after the before mount. All right. So let me go back to the previous one. So what happens if you have an update? Then we have the update life cycles. All right. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna create a div, just a simple div, and I'm gonna add an onClick. So I'm gonna say click equals to update and then name. And then update name. Could be adding a button, but that's okay. So I'm gonna go here and add a method so we can fire that function, comma, and this one is gonna be called update name, and you know, something simple, that name equals now to Steve. Let me do it right, Steve. Okay, so now whenever we update, we have two more life cycles. We have the before update and then the updated, that means that everything was updated. So we have before update and console log, just like before, and then running before update, right? And then we have the updated, which is, you know, it's gonna run after everything was updated. So console.log and then running updated, right? So I'm gonna reload the application. I'm gonna click on update name and we get running before update and then running updated. Let me make it right, running updated, right? So, you know, everything works like it's supposed to. Then of course we get the last two life cycles, which is when we destroy this view instance. We don't know how to destroy it. I'm going to show you right now. It's something very, very simple. So I'm going to add one more onClick. So div, I'm going to add the click, and I'm going to call this function kill it. And this one is going to be destroy. All right. So I'm going to be adding a new method just to destroy our view instance. And notice that we can do it inside of methods. There's no need to do it outside or anything else. We can do it just here. So we make a reference to this view instance, and to use it, remember that we have a lot of reserved methods. In this case, is going to be destroy, and we always use the $sign before that. And then we call destroy, and this will kill this view instance. So okay, that's good. So we have the last two life cycles before destroy. We have it right here, and console log before destroy. And then we have the destroyed, which is going to fire after everything gets destroyed. So destroyed. All right. And console log and then destroyed. All right. So I'm going to reload it again. We're going to test it. We have the update name. Everything works. And if I go to destroyed, everything is destroyed. Of course, it's not removing anything right here, but nothing else is going to work. If I do update name, it's not going to work because it's destroyed. It destroyed this instance. And of course, we get before destroyed and destroyed. And if I click destroy again, you know, it's not happening. The view instance is kind of dead. Okay, so this is the whole life cycles. Of course, in real life, you might use maybe 2 or maybe 3 or 4, you know, tops. But mostly you're gonna just use those 4, right? This is what's happening in real life. Of course, you can use all of them, but some of them, they're only applicable on some scenarios, all right? But it's good to know that we have access to know everything that is going on your application, right? That's good to know. Now, all of this is on the documentation. I'm gonna click it because I have it right here. So if you look in Google or you go right here, it says the view instance, you're gonna get this, this beautiful diagram with all the explanation of what's happening. But we kind of did it, so you don't need to check it out. But if you want it, you have it right here. Okay, so now we kind of know a lot of Vue.js, and on the next section we will put Vue to practice, and we're gonna build a very simple application just to get used to Vue. All right, and then after the application, the simple application, we will hit the reality, and we will use Vue like the pros with Node.js, the CLI components, and so on.